Hey, you guys, this is Desiree with Soul Path Astrology, and I thought I would bring you a special report. I apologize, there's no video. For one, don't have my face on, but more importantly, my computer seems to be having some issues recording the bandwidth for video and audio. And this is just so important. I really wanted to make sure that I got it out and that it didn't glitch out. So you just get to look at my static face while I speak to you about the craziness that is going on right now astrologically. There's we can't talk about October without addressing October 2nd. This is the final lunation, the absolute final lunation in this Aries Libra axis. Our lunar nodes are going to be shifting out of this in January, and we're going to be moving into the Pisces Virgo axis. So 2 weeks ago, September 17th, we had the lunar eclipse, and that was happening because what would happen is we had a Pisces moon and a Virgo sun. So that's that these two talk to each other. That's what happens with eclipses, right? They basically they oppose or they're conjunct each other. And so what that was 2 weeks ago was an opportunity, our first taste of what it was sort of like this come to Jesus talk, Virgo, around any flights of fancy Pisces that we have in relationship, Aries, Libra. This one, it's Aries, Libra, lunar nodes, Aries, Libra, sun and moon. And this is like, mm, there's such a deep invitation here with this lunation to really start to explore some depths. There's a few things that are going on multiple levels, and I want to address all of them because these readings are always going to meet you wherever you're at. They're going to find you exactly where they need to find you. So maybe you'll hear this and some stuff will land, and then maybe you'll listen to it again and different stuff is going to land. So I just want to put it all out on the table and just allow you to pick and choose from what's expressed to what resonates, what's going to be nourishing, what's going to really be feeding your soul and your soul's evolution at this stage. So, the main aspects, these things that we really want to focus on, there's a Mars, Venus, Saturn water trine. So, this is really beautiful. It means that each one of those is in a water sign, they form a trine with each other. And trines are always very beneficial. Sextiles and trines are like, it's a gentler energy, it's a flow energy. Mars is masculine, Venus is the feminine, Saturn is the boundaries guy, right? He's the one that can also has discernment. And so, over and over and over again, we're being invited into an exploration of what is feminine, what is masculine, what do we need more of? What do we need less of? What do we need to experiment with a little bit regarding how deep we're prepared to go? Like, I guess first it would do well to explore when I'm talking about feminine, what I'm talking about is receptivity, and I'm talking about the base from which everything is created from. The masculine is more doing, it's more phallic in its nature. I mean, if you can just think about how the human body works and how sex works, right? I mean, the feminine is literally receiving, the masculine is literally giving, right? And how does that work? And it's in the feminine body that life emerges, life gestates and grows in that like dark, loamy soil of the womb, right? And so the feminine is like the grounds from which creation arises. And we have this amazing opportunity because, so on the one hand, you've got the Mars, Venus, Saturn trine going on. But what's really crazy, because the thing about eclipses is that they really, it brings up what is ready. This is in the South Node. So this is what gifts from your ancestors are ready to come online, and what crap are you ready to let go of? Black Moon Lilith is on this pole, and on the North Pole of this is Priapus. And Priapus, you probably haven't heard a lot about him. I actually just learned about him. But it's like he is Black Moon Lilith's counterpoint. So let's start with Black Moon Lilith. She is this, as the story goes, because most of astrology is based on mythology to get the archetypal energy going. You can understand it through the myth. And so Black Moon Lilith was here first before Eve. So she showed up, God made Lilith, and She just wasn't submitting. She represents very much our wild natures, our that deep, wild feminine, the thing that really arouses you. Like, this is the thing, this is like that energy that feels wildish and can be scary, right? It can also be deeply manipulative. It can be very angry. It can be very, this is a rejected shadow side, not only the shadow in a negative way, but the shadow of the positive, the so powerful it's scary kind of thing. And then her counterpoint, Priapus, is the dark masculine. So this is when, in its highest octave, it's penetrative and it's like, oh, like it just has that deep, strong strength, that sense that some part of us is all longing to surrender into, like to just be like, oh, where there's these powers within us that want to be met at this really deep level. Like, there's this opportunity here to really start to learn how to sink into and embody, like meet and embrace and embody these way deeper archetypes rather than just your basic like feminine masculine stuff that we usually talk about. And this is so intense. And the thing about South Node eclipses is it's like this is the stuff we don't want to look at. This is the stuff that we've been trying very hard to like slap our hands over our eyes or our ears and be like, nah, 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 because it's very challenging, right? And like anything in astrology, anything in life, period, there's always just an invitation. Like you're not being forced into anything, but the invitation here, it's so ripe for if you're like really sick and tired of shallow living, if you're really sick and tired of just basically doing the same pattern over and over, hoping this time it's going to get deeper. This time it's going to be richer. This time you're going to be taken to like a greater height or a deeper depth. Like if you are looking for this sense of like deeply embodying your life, like really being all the way in it, that's what this energy is inviting us into right now. And noticing, where do I have fear around my own depths? Where do I have need to learn how to ride this dragon? And this is the beautiful metaphor about not only the movie, which I'll talk about in a second, but this is exactly what the north and south node is. That nodal axis is the dragon. It's Ketu and Rahu. It's the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. And this is very much like, in the movie How to Ride Your Dragon, the premise is that there's this dark black, you can't even really see it. It's like whoop, he winks in and out, right? He's the worst, scariest dragon of them all. And then as it turns out, it's not. In fact, he's one of the sweetest, friendliest dragons there is. He's like the kindest, he gets named Toothless. Like it's just, and the whole of it is the main characters needing to learn how to ride. So, and it not about trapping it, not about just, killing the spirit within the dragon, but rather actually really deeply learning what is going on with this dragon and to find out that this darkest, deepest, most quote unquote awful one, evil one is actually the most loving. This is like, there's so many layers to that movie and there's so many layers to our nodal axis. And it's that, it's like our deep sexual energy, right? These taboo things, like what is that? And how do we misuse it? How are we afraid of it? How do we dance away from it? And how do we try to like minimize it or dumb it down or cheapen it because we're actually afraid to go really, really deep? And that's what the invitation is right now with this lunation, with this eclipse, the South Node eclipse in Libra, right? We've got this warm, fluid water trine happening with Mars and with Venus and with Saturn. It's like because Saturn is the maturing factor, right? Saturn is the thing that like, it's the fire that forges the steel. It's the thing that refines stuff down. And so rather than having this like fire hose of sexual energy spraying all over the place willy-nilly, right? Or conversely, cranking it down and having nothing and having it just be a dry desert. There's this invitation for the feminine and the masculine poles, both of them, to like really step into the potential that they have, really, really step into a fuller, richer, deeper, way more wild, but way more real and way more meaty version of each other. Meaty, not needy. Like meat in the sense of when you just feel something is real, like you, all the pretense has fallen away from it, and it's not packaged, it's not polished, it's just raw, but it's refined in its rawness. And that's where this, I wish I could describe this better. I can feel into this energy, and there's this impulse, this invitation to learn how to open to that. And it does require that we face our fears. It does require that we arrive for the thing that we want to turn away from, that we want to fall asleep, do not think about it, where we want to busy ourselves. Like turn Saturn, turn your head and face it and breathe and stretch your capacity around what does it mean to be here? What does it mean to be real? What is it? What is power? Like, this is the really big, what is power? What is helplessness? What does it mean to be in service to someone, to something? What does it mean to exert my power or to surrender willingly, consciously in helplessness, in full surrender? Like, what does that mean to be sublimely surrendered to the divine? And what does that mean to take this deep, huge responsibility of being the one in control, the penetrative action? What does that mean? What do you need to purify? What do you need to bring online into your conscious awareness so that it's not unconsciously running the show, so that you can really show up for these roles? How can you really arrive for that quickening in your body, in your loins? Like, this is really, this energy is very sacral chakra, very, and rooted, like rooted down in that second chakra. Like, it's just, and then of course the third, the solar plexus, is the power. And how do you, like a cauldron, like as though your pelvis were a cauldron, how do you like mix these energies up and then elevate it into the heart center? Elevate it past just base sensation into something that's elevated. It's connected to spirit. It's connected to love. It's connected to the greater whole, not just my own personal edification or maybe my partner's, like, this isn't just a thrill ride, though it's thrilling. But what goes beyond that? And so this eclipse tomorrow it's tapping into all of that. And you might skate right past it. It might be too much, but if this is resonating, if this is like, ugh, I've been waiting to hear this, then yay, like, take this as your permission slip to really become curious about what enlivens you, what quickens your pulse, what makes you feel actually alive. And what parts of you have you been afraid of? What parts of the masculine, because we've put that in the shadow too, the dark masculine. Oh, it's patriarchy. Oh, it's controlling and abusive. But that's like, it's like lowest, most shitty octave, same as the feminine, super manipulative, using sex to get her way, or what, I mean, so like, this is about elevating it past those. Like, what does it mean to be deeply embedded, that like anima and the animus, this deep felt sense of uniting the depth of our deep power with the lightness of enlightenment. Like, enlightenment being you're bringing your awareness, bringing consciousness to that which has been previously unconscious, previously hidden in the dark. So become curious. Allow this lunation to stir curiosity up in you and to seek trust. Maybe do some journaling, or maybe see if you can find some groups to support you in this or whatever. But like, allow yourself to become curious about what it means to work with these energies. And I could totally recommend, there's Sabrina does a course, a rewilding course of her own. I would certainly look her up because she's amazing for this stuff. It's not my that's not my wheelhouse. I can tap into the energy of it, but it's not my wheelhouse. So I don't want to recommend that you work with me if what you're wanting to do is work in these energies. But I will put in the comments a link to her website and her stuff because she's amazing and that's totally her wheelhouse. And she has rewilding, which, as a brand, I'm totally down with. Yeah, so I hope that that lands. I hope that this is stirring up some curiosity in you and exciting you towards like, okay, I want to learn this. I'm tired of stifling this. I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of, just using it in a really cheap way. I'm tired of operating on this superficial level and I want to go deep. I'm ready to go deep. It's almost like an initiation. We've been in this portal, this initiation portal between the 17th, September 17th and October 2nd. This eclipse portal is like an initiational opportunity. This energy is going to continue, like I said, for the next until January, and then the nodes shift, and then we'll still be feeling it for a bit. Like there'll be a few months where we're still feeling this into April. Like it runs about 6 months, but just like right now, it's at its most intense. You've probably been feeling this already, and you'll be feeling it yet some more after the peak date here. But just yeah, cultivate some space. Know that it's intense, right? Like there's an invitation here to go really deep. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it for this. I hope that you find value in it, you guys. If you do, love the love. Please like the videos, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, shared with somebody that you might think would find value in it. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. And I look forward to your comments too. Bye for now.